Good evening, everybody. How are we? Sharon K's sound was on. I just wasn't saying anything. That's all it was. Have you had a good day? Or should I say good avond, good morgen, bonsoir, bonjour, good evening, g'day. That do? That'll do. Well, I don't know where the time went. I don't know. It just vanished since I saw you last. It just disappeared altogether. I think we got a lot done. I know I met deadlines, but there's just new ones now. There's just new ones I have to get done. But before we get started, good evening, Michelle and Diane. It is lovely to see you. And good evening, Lorraine and Bernadette and Linnell and Chris and Jennifer and Fiona. Good evening. Lovely of you to join me. It's cold. It was such a beautiful day here in Melbourne, but now it's quite cold. I don't think the scarf's going to last. I don't think so. Do you? No, we'll take it off now. I'd love to think I could keep it on. There's not much rotary cutting tonight, so it was low risk that I was going to cut it, but I might just, there we go. Sits up there with its friends. It's perfectly fine. Heather, hello from Atherton. Now, there's the story. You think of Atherton, you think, yeah, Queensland warm. No. I know from Janice Stroud for a fact it gets freezing cold at night time in Atherton. But lovely of you to join us as well. Glynis is here as well. Good evening. Hello, Michelle. Bernadette, I'm glad are you prompting me? That is so nice of you. That you know these are mine, right? These are my scarves. This big Waratahs. These are my babies. We've had a fresh big batch done. These are my big babies. So, yeah, they're up on the website. Steve asked me if I wanted to put the black and red ones up, but we're just not sure at the moment when we're going to be able to reprint again and get them out of where they are. There's a few challenges at the moment, as you would well know, because you're all waiting for your fancy schmancy scissors to arrive. Good evening, Rosemary. You do so with Stroudy. Oh, sorry, you do so with Janice. Oh, that's lovely. Mum and Janice had a chat the other day. They caught up, which was really nice. Hello, Marie. Good evening. And Nella is here as well. Thank you very much. Louise, I was going to ring you today, Lou, and see how you're going with your overlocker. So if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate, will you? But there was the courtesy call coming today. Now it will come tomorrow. I will be sure to give you a buzz. Now, for those of you that are here with me who are Chandler's Cottage, what do you want to call it? Chandler's Cottage show. I was going to say showgirls. Heather, Janice is a Chandler's Cottage showgirl, and the joke goes that once you're a Chandler's Cottage showgirl, you always are a Chandler's Cottage showgirl. So anyone that has worked for Chandler's Cottage at a show is like in this little secret cult group. So Stroudy is a Chandler's Cottage showgirl. Meg Lancaster that comes on, she's a Chandler's Cottage girl. Fiona, you're absolutely right. I've done a little bit of my homework. I will show you. And the kits, no, the kits are not on the website because I finished it about an hour ago, and therefore, and I would not even dare ask Steve this evening. He's got about 4 hours of homework to get a very serious university project in. The voice goes lower when it's very serious. So he came in and filled all of our orders today for us, and then shot through. Walked out the door with his food from my fridge and whoosh, gone. So I would expect, I'll try and get a really nice picture of it. I'll get a nice picture of it tomorrow, and then we have to kit the cuts. Did you hear that? Cut the kits, and then we have to weigh them, and then we have to catalogue them, and then we can put them up. So Thursday, by the Chandler's Cottage show at 2 p.m. Thursday, they will be alive and well on the website. So, yeah, thank you for asking. Good evening in Yarram, Judith. How are we this evening? Oh, Therese, thank you very much for joining us. Cecily is here as well. Christine Davies. I thought of you today again, Christine. Are you okay? Are you okay with your drop-dead gorgeous Benina? I send my babies out. I just send them out. And I just hope that they, you know, it's a bit like that. It's not like sending them out for a gap year where you get them back, or exchange students. I send them away, and I just hope that they're okay. I was playing on my big baby today. Big baby, a Bonita 790. Even I'm a little bit. Only broke a needle once. Actually did. I did. And all because they are smart machines and I insulted its intelligence. So when you change from a normal plate to a straight stitch plate, you tell the machine you have, and then it won't let you use the zipper foot or a zigzag or anything until you put it back to a normal plate. I didn't tell it, did I? Bad girl, bad girl. Sharon Keys, you have cut up, never failed. You never disappoint us on the volume factor, Sharon. 16 makeup purses just waiting for zips. Oh yeah, I know, that's the thing, isn't it? The zips are a problem. Got a fair few coming in this week though. So yeah, email me what you need. I've got lots of different colours coming in. Sue's here now as well. Kathy's here. Oh look, the team's in. Team's in the building. So we all have to behave, because after we go to bed, all of the lovely ladies in Europe and the UK and America watch this when we're all asleep. So we have to be good. Behave. Professional. You know, just like we do on a normal Tuesday or a Thursday. Thursday this week though, yeah, we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun. But yes, I did my homework and I'll get more done. Should get more done before Thursday. Hey, we have to get talking about who's going to do Michelle Hill's quilt as well, because everything arrived or finished arriving for it on Friday. So I've got all the boutiques and everything here, so I'm going to pop that back up and see who wants in, because it's just, I'm going to do it. I have to do it. Can't not do it. Michelle's is on beautiful, what beautiful blue black batik, but I've decided to go a bit rogue. I'm going to do mine on cream. I think Michelle will be happy with that, because then she can see what it looks like on cream. Anyway, do you want to see my homework? Wow, anyone would think I'd had coffee, but I have not. It's just the diet ginger ale. That's all that's happening here at the moment. Merle, good evening to you. Good to see you. All right, let me do my homework. There you go. All done. Someone's trying to ring me on no caller ID. There we go. All done. Now, can you see the mirrors? Little shiny mirrors in. Now, I did a little bit of a think about the lining. Remember I said, there you go. I said for the lining, I was going to do the paisley for the lining, and I cut it out, and it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. So, I went the cream. I went cream Hampton stripe, which is my all best. See, I had to stuff it so it looked good for you. That to me is just the best lining ever to use with everything. It goes with everything. It's my go-to lining fabric. So, and it goes with the zip. See that? So, ta-da, done and dusted. I'm quite happy with those little Suffolk Puffy mirrors. So what I will do with this kit, I'll pop a copy of the pattern in, even if you've already bought the digital download. I'll still put a hard copy in for the purse, and then there'll be a little, oh, my table's not high enough for you to see what I'm doing. I will pop in a little go-to sheet of extra paper. The main thing I know that you're going to want is to know how big to cut the circles to make your Suffolk Puffs that your mirrors sit in. I've put 4 mirrors in. I've already sat down and packed off the mirrors, but I will put in the size to use so that you end up with a really nice shape for your Suffolk Puff to wrap around your mirrors. How much fun's that? Good fun. Right, so that's done. Very happy, very happy. Now, did I miss anybody arriving in the building? Donna's up. Good morning, Donna. Good to see you. Hey, you can't stay long because you're supposed to be off watching. We're going to watch Natasha as soon as I've finished. Everyone, we have to go watch Natasha Makes and say hello from Australia. Please, please, because she's on Facebook and YouTube with a lady this evening making jackets out of my scarves. So we can watch it later on YouTube. But when we're finished here, I think we should all go off en masse and I'll say, hello, Natasha, and just freak her out a little bit. the powers of modern technology. Good morning, good evening, Glennis. I'm guessing it's good morning, Glennis. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. All right, so for my die-hard Chandler's Cottage girls, you now are going to sew while you're watching me, because I'm going to show you something you've seen me do many times before, but I want to do this for ladies in love and hugs who are not Chandler's Cottage girls and have not seen me do a 3D flower before. I think that's really important, that we add to the repertoire of things that we share with everybody on Love and Hugs. So, hence the Baltimore's up. So for those that haven't seen the Baltimore before, this quilt has a lot to answer for, as does my applique sampler. So we did that one first, and I taught at home for a couple of years, and then I decided to design this. Gorgeous lady, Glennis Thompson, taught. I went to a class with Gwen Thompson. I went to a class with Gwen to learn how to hand quilt. I did actually learn how to hand quilt, but in conversation with her and another mate of mine, Jennifer Saynor Locke, who's an amazing designer, who didn't even know she was a designer. She was making a double wedding ring quilt, but not in normal colours. It was all oriental reds with a mustard background with purple crossovers. I know, it was amazing. And Gwen said, you need to put Japanese mon symbols, circular symbols, in the centre for your quilting. And she brought in this book of all the family crests of Japanese mons, and which Jennifer and I just fell in love with it. I immediately went out and bought a copy of the book. Then I used the book to create an oriental pink work embroidery, which is an old quilt of mine, which then became the oriental blue work, which I put up for Chandler's Cottage, and I'll put it up one night on Love and Hugs as well. And then from there I converted it into this quilt. So this is all Japanese mon symbols that have been adapted for applique. And what I was just getting into the whole sort of epiphany of how 3D works when I did this one. So every block has a little feature of 3D work on it. And as many of you know, there's another one called a Japanese Baltimore, same techniques but non-floral. Anyway, so this is the one that Natasha's running as a block of the month in the UK at the moment. I'm not running it, we just run it as a pattern at the moment, but we are looking at doing it as an online month-by-month course next year, just for those that want to do it. It'll be a little bit of fun. So that's what we hope to do. Okay, so what I want to do tonight is focus on the Wow block, which is this one with the clematis flowers. And I'm going to show you how they're done, but I'm going to show you how to design your own as well. Just the rule of thumb that I always do. Now, we have already covered Suffolk Puffs, so we've done those. And we've also... Mel, that's so funny. No, it's not funny. Get cracking. I've just seen your comment. So we've done our Suffolk Puffs, and we've also made little 4-petal cherry blossoms or flowers. These ones have got 5 on them. We did, if you haven't watched it, when did we do it? Was it Thursday last week? I think it was, or Saturday, I can't remember which day. But on Chandler's Cottage we did ginger flowers, and you can just see them down there, ginger flowers. So we've still got some things to do on this quilt, but I really want to do these tonight. For those doing the applique sampler, you're going to love me because we're doing needle turn. The next shipment, I reckon it will go out in the next 2 days. It's so hard to predict. And a few of you said, no, don't rush. I tried to rush it and catch up. And you're going, no. But I will get it out for you in the next couple of days, and you're needle turning, which is what I've done for pretty much all of this quilt. But there's lots of other ways you can do it. Mel, sorry, I have to read this. Yeah, it would be 10 to 15 years. Mel, it would. We've been in the warehouse 7, and we were in the shop 16. And this quilt's the reason we moved out of our house. So, yeah, you're looking at somewhere between 10 and 15. 2 blocks to go. That is sensational. I'm very, very glad to hear that. Kathy, good evening to you as well, to everybody from Kathy. So that's nice. Right, you ready? I'm going to show you how to design your own. Come on, we'll do these two. I fixed the overhead camera. There you go, we've got more room tonight. And you've got the plethora of everything going on. You've got the switcher. You know how the switcher works, don't you? I push all these buttons and it changes the camera that I'm on. There you go. Anytime you want to come down when we're doing a live and have a play with the cameras, feel free. That's fine. All right, so these are sort of the petals we're going to play with tonight. And then, just to show you, same technique. Absolutely same technique to do these ones. It's all about the technique. The shape can change as little or as much as you like. And when we did our little Suffolk Puff flowers, you see these ones, we just briefly talked about, just touched on, pre-piecing your fabric first and cutting your circles for your Suffolk Puffs out of a pieced strip of fabric, and then you can get little flowers like this. So that's the walker bag. And yeah, I might go back and make one now. I will remember to change the plate and the setting on my Bonino when I have my straight stitch foot on, when I'm using the zipper foot. Alright, so there's another one of these, isn't there? I'm missing one. What's the other one? Oh, there's a little flowering gum one that I've just done in pink and teal. Yeah, with little Suffolk Puffs as the little flowers. Right, so I'll pop those away. Okay, now I've got this one out because I thought this was a really good shape for us to have a look at. So these are hybrid Australian clematis flowers, not the full-on native ones that that we see that are sort of small and white. These are, I can't even think of the scientific name, girls, this late at night. But I thought this was a really good sort of inspirational shape on here for us to start with. And then we need to work out what they're going to look like. So let me grab a pen. Okay. See, this is how I know you're all watching. It pops up and tells me who's here. Like Chris Mitchell's here. I can see Angela Sutherland's here. It's terrible, isn't it? You can't hide. You just can't hide. Now, if I want this shape, do you want that other little bag back? Probably. Let's sit this one up here. I want to get these. Now, you can see they've got a little bit of body in them, and they sit up a little bit. So that's the trick to get that body into your petals to make them 3D. If I turn around to this camera, you can see better. See how they're sitting up a little bit and they're gathered down near the base? The trick is getting that right, and it is really, really easy to do. The first thing you need to do is actually work out the final shape that you want, and you're going to take a little bit of time to get a hang of how to draw them up. The best way I find to actually draw up a flower is to go out and pick a petal off the flower and trace around it. No joke. No joke. If I get stuck with any leaf shape or anything I'm trying to draw, I was stealing camellia leaves from 2 neighbours down today because I just felt the need to draw a camellia leaf for something that I'm doing. Just went and picked the camellia leaf and traced it. That's the best way to start. So the same with the petal. If you've got one that is traceable, then please use it. So these ones here, they really do have kind of the feeling of being a little bit of a wonky heart. That's the sort of shape I want. And when it comes down into the middle, I sort of want a bit of body in it so it all sits up. Kathy and azaleas are going to work absolutely fine. I'm quite sure of that. So that's the sort of shape that I want there, okay? And actually that's quite large. I want to do one this big, and then let's do a slightly smaller one. The ones that are up on that Baltimore, they have a really distinct shape, you know, they really are that kind of shape. The other thing, of course, you've got to remember is Mother Nature's not perfect. It doesn't matter if all of your petals aren't exactly the same when you're done. So this is what we want. These gorgeous shapes. And we're going to get beautiful big full flowers. So how are we going to get to this? The thing is that if we were just to do this and bag it out and finish it off it's got no oomph. It doesn't, oomph is not a word, is it? Sorry. It has no body or 3D effect. Joan, that is just, I will make a report absolutely to Facebook that you were not informed that I was here. And if it's a heads up for you now, we're back again same time tomorrow night at 7, okay? Goodness. I don't think Facebook notifications are working that well either at the moment, to be honest. Okay, the rule of thumb from me, it's not scientific, but your rule of thumb, ow, I just impaled myself on a pin. Hang on. The rule of thumb is, oh no, we left the lid off. That one's gone to God. I think you'll be able to see the purple. I want you to come, once you've got your final shape you want, I want you to come down 2/3 of the way. So how tall is he? 3. So that's easy. So I'll come down about there. And then I'm going to draw a line across so that you can see it. Across there like that. Now what we're going to do, instead of continuing down and tapering it down to the point that I want, we're going to go, I want you to go do this. Now I've actually gone up a little bit higher on this one, but you'll get a feel for it. Once it starts to taper in quite significantly, then instead of going down to that point, go straight down. And this is what is going to give you your 3D effect, because we're going to make them like this, and then, oh, are you Donna? Say hi for me, please. Then we're going to gather up this base. And then when we do gather up this base, that's what's going to give us the shape, okay? Let's just do this smaller one. So with this one, instead of going down to the point, I'm going to take it down. Obviously, the wider we go, the more gather you're going to get. You can get to the point where you can get too much. I'll be honest, you can. And it's very hard to pull it all in and conceal it. I do like this one over here. Good evening, Pauline. How are you, Katie? Welcome to the party. I think one night towards the end, girls, we'll have to do drinks and things night, won't we? Got to do drinks and things. See what I'm doing? So you get the hang of that? That's how it kind of works. Now if you, where's that other one gone? When you're doing ones like these that are just sort of pointy ones, so these are sort of representing what a flannel flower sort of looks like, then these are actually quite easy, because you just want this shape, okay? And remember we did this shape the other day for the ginger flowers. So that's all you're going to need for that, because it's already got this width across the base. So that makes it a lot easier. Good evening, Juliana. Good to see you. There you go. So I think we'll do these two. I'm just going to quickly whip a couple of these up tonight and show you how they work. We'll pop them onto a bit of template plastic. It gets a little bit, have to be really careful here now that we're doing Facebook at night time at home. The time can get away from you a bit, so I will be honest, at 6 o'clock, we hadn't started dinner. I don't think I would have lasted till after, like Fiona's going to. And I was still kind of rocking around in a tracksuit and hadn't really done anything, and I thought, oh my goodness, the girls are going to be here at 7. But that's okay. It was all done. All done. Dinner was certainly not going to make it onto a 3 Michelin star restaurant listing, but we did eat. Okay. Now I'll get rid of this, I'll put this away, but if you are going to start designing your own things like this, keep them. please keep them. Grab a folder, put them in, make notes on them about what you've used them for. If you're not that happy with them, make notes on them as well. Next time, make the base a bit wider, make them a bit higher. Other ideas you've got to use them. Keep it all just in a little folder, because it's so frustrating if you go back and think, I wish I'd kept that shape, because that was the perfect shape for what I'm doing now. Learning from experience, that's me. I don't keep things I should. Okay, so we'll just cut these out. I've grabbed a couple of beautiful batiks that I've got here, and I'm going to use them. I'm actually sneaking a bit because I've brought home to cut the ones that are going into Michelle Hill's quilt. I'll put that up. I'm going to put that back up, I think, for Thursday. There you go. All cut out. Good. So I'll pop this one away. And for those that have not seen this design, can you see it up there too? It's in purple and pink, and that comes on black as well, as does the one with the red flowers. Actually, Donna, Natasha's got a dress made out of that fabric with the black background. I'll have to get her to rock it out again. Who's making what and where? Good evening, Jeanette. Oh, Fiona's cooking my creamy mustard chicken for dinner. Well, there you go. If you haven't tried the raspberry souffles yet, crack on, because there's another raspberry recipe coming. It's all ready to go. You've got my raspberry meringue tort. Alright, these are the two. These are brand new bolts that I pulled out of my stash from Michelle's quilt. You can tell it's the start of the bolt because it's got writing on the side. It's got a bit of writing on the side. I'll just move the iron. If I don't put you girls on the charger, you may go flat. So I'll pop you there. I just trim this little bit off the edge. So when you buy a batik, it's got violet 9. When they're all hand dyed like this, bless them, they write the colour on the end of each one they pack off. You know, like a yellow wax pen. And when you do buy batiks, don't ever be shocked. Well, mildly shocked is okay, or surprised, if you see a little bit of wax, because you have to remember that batiks are all done by hand, and they do involve wax in their process, particularly your printed ones. There you go. That was a bit wonky, wasn't it? I'll straighten it up in a minute. See, pretty, very, very pretty. These are really, really nice. I like AU batiks and Hoffman batiks. Gorgeous. I'm going to have fun cutting all them up. Right, I'm going to do it again. You ready? Freestyle. Chop that off. Wouldn't recommend you do it at home. It's never going to get, you will sometimes see when you get fabric from us that we have actually freestyle cut it, and that is because we just, you know, we do so much cutting, we use sharp ones, and if we do freestyle cut, you know you've got extra fabric, because we can cut pretty straight now, but we always add a little bit extra in case it's not perfectly straight. So you can see I've got plenty of room. Can you see what I'm going to do? We are going to cut a piece out to sew our petals from, and I'm now just going to straighten these up so it does look a little bit more professional. Okay, so the big thing is with 3D work, and it is probably the second most important thing, no, it's the most important thing, with the shaping being the second, or the third, I don't know, we don't need this tonight, do we? Let's move that. Is we don't cut them all out individually first. I need a bigger table. We're not going to do that because if you've got this little teeny weeny shapes or ones like this, let's have a look at the ones back on the quilt again. If you cut out little itty bitty ones like this, or these little ones with a 1/4 inch seam, depending on your machine, and these little ones down here, depending on your machine and how it's set up and your feed dogs and everything, your machine will eat them. They're too small and they're too fiddly. So we sew them while they're all still in one strip. And again, my girls will know this. It's one of my go-to tricks, but let's have a bit of fun with this tonight. So we're going to sew them all, draw them and sew them all onto a long strip, and then we're going to cut them out. But I want to do mine with a different colour on each side. So 2 of these pieces I will set aside and use later, because I've got an idea, as always. And I think these would make beautiful irises, absolutely beautiful irises. So we'll pop those ones aside. I will just give this a little press because it's fresh off the bolt. See, I found my little ironing board, finally. We won't talk about where it was. Just use this one tonight. I love these little things. They are really, really good if you make bags, just to pop the ends of your bags over while you're sewing. Why am I not hot? Give it a minute. Give it a minute. Yeah, I'm on maximum. My machine, my iron doesn't know anything but maximum. There we go. Bit of steam. Okay. Now, as this is light and dark, I'll draw onto the light side so it's easier for you to see. A lot of my patterns that have 3D work in them, Cass and I usually set up the diagrams so all of the petals are down one side. But you know what? Tonight I think we can do that a little bit differently. I'm going to use a pen. Obviously I wouldn't recommend you use a pen, a proper pen. I just do this so that you can see it. But use a pencil, a chalk pencil. Oh, hang on, now a good one might work. Well, not that's not going to work, but I want you to be able to see it. So I'm going to sit this right on the edge. I do acknowledge that this is going to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance down here, but I think that that's going to be plenty of height for my petals. Oh yeah, you can see, I think you can see that. Just, nah, I guarantee it is there, and those trio pens are awesome. That's better. Okay, so we need 5 of these. So what I was going to say, you can do them this way, or you can use the edge on the other side. Whichever's going to work best for you to get the absolute most out of your fabric. I don't need to leave much here. So normally you'd think, yeah, a whole 1/4 inch and then another whole 1/4 inch. We are going to cut these out when they're sewn with a really scant 1/4 inch seam. So you just don't need to leave that much there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I might not fit all my babies in here. Let's have a go. If I go up here first. No, I may not, but I will get a couple done so that you can see the process. 2. Look at this. I'll have to use that bit for the Suffolk Puffs in the middle, won't I? 3. All right, I'm going to stop at 3 for now, and I think I can show you something else with 3 anyway. All right. Now, you don't you really don't want these strips to slip around too much, but they, on the other hand, they don't need a lot of pinning, so we'll just pop a couple of pins in down this way. Then we'll flip it. You will start to look at fabric very differently when you start doing 3D flowers. You'll start to look at ombres, you'll start to look at subtle stripes that can run this way. You'll start fussy cutting even from fabrics. Instead of having a strip, you'll have one common strip underneath, and then you might fussy cut squares from other fabrics that your petals are going to come out of. You'll start to really think differently and mess with different things. Oh, trust me, you will. You will. All right, so that is all ready to go to hit the sewing machine. So I'll just grab that out off the, oh, it's here, ready to go. Lovely. So I'll pop my Benina up. I want to show you that one later. Down there. I might put the iron down here. I need a bigger table. I know I've already said that, and I'm getting one. There's one coming. So I need you, there we go, to be able to see the machine, because then I can have it all plugged in down one end. These things take time. Sometimes you've actually got to work out what you need first. You'll sneak a drink while you're not looking. Alright. Good evening, Benina. I might just rethread that. Oh, I'm caught around my handle. There we go. That's from picking it up. Okay, I think we're all good. You really think I would have checked that, wouldn't you? Never mind. As I said, I left him alone today because I've been playing on the other one. So, here's the other thing to make a note of. If you think you're going to have a go at doing this, pick a matching colour, one that matches one side or the other if you're using different ones. And also, keep your stitches nice and small. Really important to keep them super small, because you're going to put a fair bit of pressure onto those seams when you turn them the right way out and push them out into shape. And then the other thing, if you've got one, go for an open, if I hold that there, go for an open toe foot. So if you're on a Benina, for example, a number 20. There's also a couple of fantastic clear feet. Number 23 is a fantastic one I use a lot for appliquing things. You just want to be able to see where you're going, because these are quite simple shapes tonight. I could get away with my 1/4 inch foot or just my basic number 1. But if you start doing more intricate ones with a few little twists and turns, it's really nice to be able to see where you're going. Right, so just nice and slow, and I'm going to put my stitch length down to about 2.2. If you need, see, the smaller your stitch, the easier it's going to be to get round the corner as well. Rosemary, what are you telling me to do? Would you, Leesa, would you tell... Well, yeah, no, that's absolutely right. It does not matter. It does not matter which side of your batik you use. So these are, of course, right sides together, technically speaking. But if I had normal fabrics, yes, they would, yeah, of course, they're right sides together, because we're going to turn them out the right way when we've sewn them. Now when you get to the base of your first petal, you can do a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a reverse if you want. You can just cut it off. You can continue sewing straight across. It's entirely up to you, but it's not going to matter too much about securing off those ends, and I'll show you why when we get there. I'm going to go a bit bigger so I can get around these quicker for you. Because I'm standing up, I'm not using my knee lift, but if I was sitting down, it's a great time to use your knee lift if you don't have an automatic foot up and down function on your machine. You only need to lift up a little bit to scoot around those corners. So this time you can see I'm just going to go straight across. What on earth? Oh my God. I wasn't worried about thread because I thought, well, I really want the girls to be able to see what I'm doing. I've got green on the back. I didn't even look. If anything, it's going to prove to you it's a good idea to have matching thread. Okay, while I'm just finishing this off, I want you to get your brain thinking about this. If I did this and I put my right sides together, and then I went back and I sandwiched in between them a sheer piece of organza or lace. Have a think about that. What would happen when we turn these right side out? It would be really, really, well it is, it's really, really cool. I made big petals like that for a friend's hat for the Melbourne Racing Cup, for the horse race, at one stage. So they had sheer organza over the top, and we reinforced them. We even put florist wire in between and secured it down like stamens with the zip foot so we could shape them. It was so quick and easy to do, and it did look really, really good. Then the other thing, if you went and bought some short frill or braid, more like like something quite soft and frilly. A fringe, that's what I'm trying to say, a fringe. And you sit that fringe, the fringe actually gets sandwiched in here. Think about that, because when we turn them through, that fringe is going to come up like the frilly centers in a poppy. And again, it's not like you're going to make a whole quilt with these. Oh, we're there. But for embellishment, for presents, to put on pin cushions, to put on bags, brooches, like we've spoken about, lots and lots of different things. Now, I'll just do one. Just do one of these these small ones, so you can see the difference. And with that, we will say good night, Vanilla. Get him out of the way. They're not light, are they? But you know what? That's a really good thing, because then they don't bounce around when we're sewing. Okay. I find you get a much nicer finish, and it's easier to get these into a really crisp shape if you give them a good press before we do anything else. Okay, so we'll just These go, and then they're nice and flat, and that sets all those seams. Now, what we're just going to do is cut them out, and we're going to cut them out with a really scant 1/4 of an inch seam on them. And even more so because I've used batiks tonight, we can do that. Okay, so we'll just come through, and I'm just adding a scant 1/4 of an inch outside our sewn line as we go. So there you go. That's well, there's one done. So we've got different colour on each side. Got string everywhere. There we go. So I suppose it's I like talking about. I really like talking about things that we can do that don't necessarily have to happen at the sewing table, and this is one of them, because while we love to hide away in there, there do come times when we may need to go outside or sit in front of the television or sit at the kitchen table while we're waiting for dinner to cook. We really need to focus on getting our vitamin D. So as it warms up here in Australia at least, we need to get out in that sunshine. So I think now with most of the rules and things going on, there's no reason why we can't pack these up. Very soon we'll be able to head to the park with a cuppa and a biscuit and just soak in the sunshine and the warmth and take a little bit of sewing with us. I don't know about you, but I've got really fond memories with some of my projects and in particular some of my fabric designs of where I did it and when, and that just adds to the joy in using those things later on. There we go. So I've got one, haven't I? Yeah, here's one of these smaller ones. I'll just cut this one as well. I'm just giving you all scissor envy again, aren't I? Sorry. I will. They're coming. We're really trying very, very hard. Okay. Now, let's go on to the next toys. These are my lethal weapons, my forceps. So these are your go-to ones most of the time. These are the straight ones, and these are the ones that we put on the website first. Donna, I think Natasha's got these now, and if she hasn't, she's going to get them in the next week or two. So these are my forceps, and then these are also my forceps. Now these are bigger, and you can see these have a curve. So if I was doing things like, what's a good example? So these ones on here, I've needle turned them on. But if I wanted to do these 3D, then I would use these longer ones that have got a bit of a curve, and it'd be easier to do what I'm about to show you that I'm doing. So it just comes down to what you like working with and the shapes that you're doing. But these will do everything. It's just a case of, if you like having a bit of variety, then you can do that. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm going to put it up inside. Why is my camera moving? I don't know. I'll have to get Rob to come and have a look at it. Can you see that? I've put it up inside, and I've got my handle here. Lordy Lord, that camera's going to do your heads in. We'll try over. I'll go back to the overhead. It's moving. I don't know why it's possessed. Okay, so it's freaking me out. And I want the handle on the top. Then you're going to pick up a little bit of the tip, like this. You're going to pull the petal over the top, like that. See, I knew he was watching me on Facebook. Robbie, camera 2's moving.
No cat.
Hey?
No cat.
No, it's not the cat. Is it the cat?
Huh?
It's not the cat. It's literally moving. She's not under there, is she?
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. Do you want to try it again? Excuse us. Watch this. Watch this. Look, it's moving. Do you want to see the screen?
I can see from here.
Okay, we'll let you play with that, and I'll just keep doing this. So pop the handle up there. Now, if you went that way, it's got nothing to grip. So that's why I always say make sure you've got the handle on the top. Now the top one's playing up. No, I don't think the cat's been in here today. Okay. It's not moving now. What you do?
Just played with the zoom a bit.
Alright.
Oh no, here it goes. Hold on.
No. So how many is that, girls? I've lost count now. So I did the small one, and let's do, so I've got 1, 2, and you can see what I'm doing. I'm just using those forceps to really push out the shape. I haven't clipped into this top seam because I've got it so tight and small, the seam allowance next to the seam. It's really not necessary to get that finished shape. And the thing is, if you start clipping into that seam, you can lose the beautiful curve that you've created. So we won't do that. So this is 3, and shape that out. Okay, now if you're doing this as I'm going and you've managed to get ahead of me, you're going to need a needle and thread next. How easy is that? So you're never in the point where you're never in that situation where you're having to do that and putting any stress on the seams. Do you want to give it another go, Robbie? You're not sure?
Try.
This is experimental stage now, ladies. No, it's still doing it. Is it? It's not me leaning on the counter, is it? Nope. Ooh, there's gremlins in the house. All right. Now that we've got these ready, I'm going to do the little naughty thing. I'm going to do the finger roll with just licking my fingers, and as I go, I can just push them out a little bit more. There we go. So that's going to give us 1 petal. Now he's not 3D yet, but he will be very soon. So I'll just do these other ones. So as I was just saying before the camera decided to become possessed, camera 2 that is, that it's just one of those little things that you can sit somewhere and draw all of these up, and then when you've got your spare time, you can pop into the sewing room and sew them. And then you've got something else that you can take with you anywhere in the house or outside in the garden. The garden, of course, is a nice place to do it because then you're going to get a lot of inspiration for more.
Stable.
How'd you fix it?
What else fails? Push the cords in.
When all else fails, push the cord in. Do you think? Don't you go anywhere, Mr. Cameraman, until I've done these. Okay, you can see I'm using steam, and you can use a little bit of starch as well if you want to, if you're really looking for a very strong, stable flower. Alright, one more time. We'll give it one more go. When in doubt, plug the cords back in. Are they too dodgy cords, or are they cords that were staying?
They're staying.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's have a go while you're standing there, Rob, just in case, at the next step. So we've got, these are our 5 big ones and 1 small one. Now, nice strong thread. A needle doesn't have to be a super small needle for this step. It can be quite a big one because we are going to There we go. I can't go where I want to go now. There we are. Sorry. What? He's picking on me. Not true. Okay. Strong thread. And I said we were going to be professional this evening, the local girls and I, so that, you know, Donna and the girls in the UK thought we were pros here. So take one of your petals, it doesn't matter which side, and you're going to pleat up the bottom. So this is where the 3D effect's going to come in. It doesn't have to be a super fine stitch because you actually want it to pleat up. So you can see that I've run through just about 1/4 of an inch apart. And I've gone over the same spot again, and that's how you're going to get your 3D effect. So as you can see, the wider that base of the petals are, the more body and pleating that you're going to get in the effect. Now, many people at this stage think it's a really good idea to do all of their petals in one go. It's not. To get the pinwheel effect like the ones that I've got up here, you really need to do them individually first. So I'm going to slip off that thread and do a fresh one. Now I've got a cat round my legs. Alright, I'll just do this one here. So while I'm doing these, the 3D petals that are on this quilt behind me that are done in exactly the same way, besides these ones on here. So you've got ones on the bamboo block. Some of these I've actually left as whole. They're not gathered in, but they have just got a little bit of a hole on one side to turn them through. So they are flat. The ones down here on the poppy are done exactly the same way. The ones on the irises are done the same way. So these are actually being put onto the block, you can see, upside down, and then they fall down over. So that's another one. And then the ginger flowers down the bottom are also made in the same way but not pleated in. They're folded in half and nested inside each other, which you'll see on the Chandler's Cottage Facebook page from last week. So this is 2. So yes, if we had actually popped in some frill or some organza, this is where we would be at now. So we would have sheer organza on this side or this one, because when you turn it through, the organza is sandwiched in between, so you can actually decide which side the organza is going to be on when you turn it out. You could even find some really pretty open weave lace, and that would be gorgeous, because then you would see the colour of your fabric peeking through the lace. Ombres are just sensational because they're going to shade, so you could set it up that you would shade from dark to light purple with these as well. Now also, if you're an embroiderer, you will probably be itching to embellish these before you gather them up. So if you wanted to add in some detail of some stamens up through here with some running stitch, back stitch, stem stitch, you could do that. If you are a machine girl, well then of course you can also do that with machine embroidery thread on your machine. If you're going to get really carried away on the machine, you might like to pop them onto a little bit of tearaway or wash away stabilizer to do that, just so that you keep your tension really nice first. Got one to go. Now we're talking about flowers, and that's all fine and well, but let's talk about other things. What about wings for butterflies? That would be really good. Little gathered up pleated skirts for little dresses on dolls for an applique quilt for your granddaughter. Just, you know, just start thinking about different things that you could actually do. See, to me, that's a petal, but with a little bit of reshaping, that is the cutest little skirt that's going to go on a dolly. Alright, so now I've got I've got my 5. Will I even risk the overhead again? I think I will. Okay, 1, 2, whoops, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is the simplest of things, but you can just get such a lovely effect. I think I need a slightly smaller needle because my thimble is somewhere in the house. It was last seen about 5 minutes before 7 o'clock. And I don't want to push it with my finger, so I'll go to a finer needle that is easier to get through. Alright, let's do one. We'll just do this small one as well, because I think it's good to see the effect that we can get. Right. So just through a couple of times and then a bit of a loop finish off. And there you go. Done. So to get a really lovely effect with your petals, you don't want them to sort of all just sit like that in the center. It will work, but to get a really nice 3D effect, you want to layer them up. So I'm going to sit one on top of the other, like that. And then I'm going to tack them together. Just through the pleats in the bottom. There'll be a lot of movement in the petals, and that's fine. When you come to pop them onto your bag or your quilt, you'll be able to tack them a little bit more, and even just tack them onto the quilt out on this edge out here. So those two are together, and then I'm going to layer up another one over the top. So you can see you start to build up a little bit more of the body of the flower in doing it this way. And needless to say, you're going to make one of those Suffolk Puffs to add to the center to hide all of those little raw edges. If you're not a Suffolk Puff girl, if you can find yourself a pretty button, that would be lovely to pop in the middle. Okay. Now what I might do, I could keep going, just keep adding them round and round on top like this. And then I could add the last one in like this, and then you'll be able to kick this one up. So they pinwheel all the way around. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to change it, and I'm going to put my next one under, just for something different. I'm going to pop that one under there. Alright, and then one more. I've popped all mine the same way in colour, but if you just had probably more subtle colours than what I've used, like a light red and a dark red, then you could be mixing it up on which ones are on the top and on the bottom so that you get different shades happening. Okay, one more. We'll pop this guy in here. This is a big flower. This one's really big. It's going to, he's big. But you know what, because he is, we're going to be able to do a couple more things. Alright. There we go. So there is our big, fluffy, floppy 3D flower. I'll bring it back in here. Just finish that off. Alright, so now that he's done, we've got some options that we can work with. So there we can have it on the pale side, or we can have it on the dark side. Then the other things that we can do, when we're actually appliquing him onto the block, if we want to mess around with it. There's no reason why perhaps one of his petals is folded up. Perhaps this one's over this way and that's over that way, so you could actually have all of them just showing a little bit from underneath. He is gorgeous and big, so the other thing that I would look at would be maybe making 3 or 4 of them like this, and then this one would sit flat, but then some of his friends over to the side would actually sit down like this. So it looks like they're wilting or they're sitting back in the sun. So there's lots of different ways that you can actually position them and have a little bit of a play. You can embellish them. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, if you did a set of big ones and smaller ones, well, this is what I would actually do, is make another set of the smaller ones and I can layer them up. Right, and I've got some examples to show you. So there's lots, it is just the easiest technique, and you can make them as simple or as complicated as you want to. So, and it's just, there's heaps and heaps of different shapes you can do. So please have a go, absolutely have a go. We've got the forceps on our website. There's lots of beautiful batiks on there, and as I said, I will get Michelle Hill's quilt up, and we've got to get going with that really quick. Because I hassled, well, I didn't hassle Michelle. I really pushed hard to get all of the batiks in, and now they're finally here. We better get started and get it done. So, more examples for you. This one, this one. Let me just, I'm not trying to do the slow reveal, I just forgot that the table is not high enough. This is your little Chinese, I think it's a Chinese treasure purse. So this is just another example. I do want to talk about making dilly bags while we're all together. Yes, absolutely, Rosemary. Magnolia flowers, yes, and of course they're all in bloom at the moment. No reason, if you love painting fabric, get the paints out, do the tips, shade them up. Just, you know, silk and paint and 3D flowers, that to me is just, well, what more could you want? Really, what more could you want? That would be lovely. I'm trying to find something to fourth him up with. But this little bag has got the pinwheel base. I want to make sure that everyone knows how to do this in Love and Hugs. So there you go. So we'll be coming back to this. But here you can see I've got a combo of those straight petals that I showed you before, and they're gathered up at the base. And then I've put our little blossoms on that we did. So that's another one. Pretty sure, if it's not done already, it's on Cass and Steve's hit list to get up onto the website. I will double check that. And certainly we'll have kits. So, I mean, it's just a lovely little bag. You could actually put handles on this. And we might have a frame that fits this. I'll think about that. Right, so that's one example. The other one was do you remember I did my op shop upgrade? There you go. So do you remember that? I don't know if you do. I had it at the exhibition, I think, last time. Anyway, so I found this very rickety, lovely orange wicker basket at my Parkdale op shop, and it had the most, it was not good. Someone had tried to match up a really cheap and cheerful orange solid homespun inside. So I ripped it out, and I actually did keep it, and I used it what did I use it for? Oh, for the pattern for it, and then I did use it for something else, I can't remember. But I used it as a template, and then I made a lining out of my ivory flower and gums. And so there are your shapes we used for the ginger flowers on Chandler's Cottage last week, and the ones I drew up for you before, and I've gathered up the bases, and I've put my little Suffolk Puffs in the middle. So that was actually so much fun. And I use it, I do use it. It's my fruit shop kind of, you know, one. Then the mega, the over the top, the ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, was the one I did last year in lockdown when we started the craft and cook shows on my YouTube channel. This one. This is the over the top 3D flower extravaganza, which is this one. Oh, it's too tall. I can't even, hang on, I'm going to have to look at that. Can you see that? How silly is that? I really went to town. So I think it's best if I lay this down to show you, because you need to see them all in their glory. And you know what? I went to get this out tonight. It's a year ago. I discovered they're not all sewn on yet. I had them pinned on and I impaled myself. Serves me right. So let's have a look. These are pretty much the same as the one that we did tonight. And then we mixed it up a little bit. So this one here, you've got straight ones, like I showed you on the orange bag, and then short little fat ones over the top. And then you've got big ones. See, I've done big and little here. And I might just hold this up to the camera so I can show you. Can you see, I actually, see they're shiny? I actually embellished them with metallic thread on the machine before I put them onto the bag. And then, yeah, I did. Here I did, I got out the bejeweler, because I am a closet bejeweler girl. I own one, I'm proud of it, and I don't use it on a daily basis, but every now and then you gotta get it out. Look at that. So I put the Swarovskis on. That was our little bit of cheering up during our lockdown last winter. And that still makes me smile. It really does. So these ones are done. And he got bejeweled. Do you want to see the shine? Do you want to see the shine? Hello. When I first bought it, I did a pair of shoes. I had a plain pair of velvet shoes. I had so much fun. I don't actually know if I wore them after I bejeweled them. I think they went. But I had fun actually hitting them with the crystals. And these two, just to show you the different effects that you can get. Even though I was using this, the whole thing was purple. I had a little bit of flowering gum in that colour purple, and then we went across to lilac, and then we went down to deep purple. So it was a celebration of purple. Who's my purple girl? Rosemary, you're my purple girl. I'm sure you're my purple girl. Absolutely, I'm sure you are. Who wrote what? You're all, yeah, see, I knew, Jane, I knew you'd go to the orchid. I knew you'd do the orchid story. Absolutely. All right. So, on the other side, where these ones are that are missing, they're going to go on here. So what have I got here? Skinny ones. Well, you can't quite see it. I'll go back this way. Skinny ones. I've got some more here with Swarovskis. And that one's pretty plain. That's like the ones on my walker bags. Oh, this one, he's got rounded ones underneath. So he's rounded and pointy. Quite like the shape of those ones. They're pretty good. Okay, so you get the whole idea. You can have a heap of fun. And this is this fabric that I showed you earlier on. So it comes in the cream or the ivory. That's its other friend. So you can actually put these together. They've got the same colour flowers in them. So, oh gee, that, yeah. See, there's a little bit of love happening there between them. That's good. Right, so are we all feeling very 3D now? I really hope you are. I really, really hope you are. And I want you to get cracking, find some fabric, go and have a little bit of a play. But please remember what I said. It doesn't have to be a plain fabric that you work with. Ombres, fussy cut from different parts of big prints. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Butterflies. So, you know, make the shape of a butterfly wing, but where it's going to connect onto the body, make it fatter and then pull it in, and you're going to get nice big butterfly wings. So have a little bit of a play. What Jane just said is absolutely right. Orchids. If you've got really lovely gardening books or ones with pictures, botanical pictures or something, get them out, see what you can come up with. For me, some of the classics are doing things like frangipanis and poppies and things like that. Poppies are the ones where you do big red batiks and then you do a little black frill in the middle with a pop of lime green in the centre, all those sorts of things. So it's the perfect time here in Australia to get stuck into the spring flowers. And if you are watching and it's heading towards autumn, get out and catch those late summer blooms now and have a little bit of a play. And I will catch you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on the Love and Hugs Facebook show, and then also Chandler's Cottage at 2 o'clock on Thursday, and all of them will be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can go back and watch them then if you don't want to try and find them here. And YouTube is the Leesa Chandler channel, in case you were looking for it. Thanks heaps. Love you lots. And I shall see you tomorrow night. All right. Bye. Bye.